We knew that with the record-breaking unemployment numbers reported last week, that it was likely that things would not suddenly rebound come this week. But it turns out that it's even worse than a lot of people thought that it might be. The U.S. Department of Labor registered just over 6.6 million initial unemployment insurance claims for the week ending March 28th. That easily surpasses the previous record set in last Thursday's release, which in turn shattered all previous records for initial unemployment filings. And I will say, as a fan of data visualization, this has been a great moment for charts that look really crazy. Like this is what you have to use to demonstrate. And that's going back to 1967. So you can see that
Yeah.
all of these recessions, including the Great Recession of a decade ago, they barely register as blips on that in comparison to the last 2 weeks. It's
Right.
crazy.
And I think we probably have a lot more coming. Um, and I think, to the credit of Congress, they did something about unemployment in the last stimulus, and they tacked on a slight bonus for people because when you move from employed to unemployed, your unemployment check almost never, like 99.9% of the time, does not cover the income that you were making before. So there's a little bit of a bonus. But I'm sure for many, 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 many people, it is still not covering what they lost. And so, they have huge bills that are coming due, like you said, coming due today if you pay on time, or yesterday if you pay on time, over the next few days if you're the kind of person who doesn't. Which everybody knows precisely when their rent is due based on the contract. Everybody says the first, but it's like, oh wait, what does the contract say? The seventh? Okay,
Hmm.
and we're gonna get that in on the seventh. Um, so I think you have a lot more coming. I think you could easily see that number matched again next week, or perhaps even see a higher number. People are, and it has a kind of cyclical effect that as the number rises, that there's less money circulating, and the number of, say, restaurants and retailers that were open for carry out, that were hoping to hang on, might then over the next few weeks, a lot of them are going to start throwing in the towel as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess when people are saying there's estimates of 20 or 30% unemployment, that it's going to be these huge numbers. I mean, this is how you get to this, is a few more weeks
Right.
of
Right.
this, and I mean, I'm really curious, obviously, long term, what effect this is going to have. I mean, think about, like, if this lasts a few months for some individuals, let's say that hypothetically things do go back to normal at some point, that is still going to be a huge long-term impact on people's lives. The possibility that their businesses will have shut down, they might have lost apartments. I mean, God only knows. And so we're going to be seeing sort of ripple effects from this for the rest of our lives. This massive stone thrown in the pond of the American economy. I'm
Yep.
curious, in the short term, do you think that another set of huge numbers like this coming out, is that going to put more pressure on Congress to do even more, to perhaps not wait quite as long before passing the next set of recovery legislation?
Right. Each one of these weeks where millions of people are filing for unemployment absolutely does put pressure on Congress to do something about this, because the way that American capitalism runs, and capitalism generally runs, is it has to run. You can't hit pause on it. There are quite reasonable calls for a rent moratorium, a mortgage moratorium, but even if you do that, that's not the only thing you have to do, because then you also have to take care of whoever was on the receiving end of that payment, not out of sympathy for that landlord or that bank or whoever was collecting that check, but because those institutions owe the money to other places, maybe in the form of credit to small businesses, or maybe in the form of refinances to homeowners. It's going to knock down their mortgage payment for the month. And so when all of that stuff comes to a halt, that's how a recession turns into a depression. That's what you saw in the early 1930s, that everything just came to a halt.
Hmm.
So in order to prevent that, you just have to keep pumping money into people's pockets. Like canceling rent would be great. What would be even better is if the government just paid everybody's rent.
Hmm.
Just pick it up. we've got these next 3 months, the government says, or whatever, until people can get back out and get back to work, because not paying is great, but that can lead to the system seizing up. Better to just keep it greased and running, so that when this is all over, you have fewer of what you were talking about, which is those long-term implications, because you don't want to come out of this with so much of the economy devastated that it's just effectively just dominated by Amazon and whatever private equity barons are still left. That would be a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, we had this consolidation going on already where they were crowding out. And like, this is like the version of that. Like, it could not be a stronger, impact in the short term. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.